Everybody, my name is Lance Prothro. I'm the chairman of the Southeast Dallas Chamber of Commerce. I'm the CFO at A+ Charter Schools, and I want to welcome everybody to our City of Dallas District 5 Council Forum for the election that's coming up on May 1st. Early voting is going on right now, as you saw in the graphic earlier. Before I get into the forum, I wanted to let Jennifer talk for just a second about the YouTube video and what we're doing with that. So Jennifer. Jennifer, you're on mute.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so on our website, you can get to our website by going to scdallaschamber.org or scdcc.org. Scroll down to the bottom and there's a picture of YouTube. It's a quick blog, and that is where you will find links to our YouTube account. The Zoom video will be posted there today. And there's also a quick tutorial in case you need to change your language from English to Spanish. There's several languages that you can choose to do that. And there's the tutorial that shows you how to do that. Very cool. So let's see here.
All right, thank you for that. And just a couple of things I want to share with the audience real quick about some events going on. This coming Saturday, April 24th is the 2021 version of GrowFest. So this GrowFest is going to be a vaccine registration and free food package distribution. Again, this Saturday, April 24th from 2 to 5 p.m. at A+ Academy Secondary Campus, located at 445 South Masters Drive, produced by Dallas County Commissioner Dr. Teresa Daniel, Dallas County Health and Human Services, the Concilio, the Southeast Dallas Chamber of Commerce, the Kiwanis Club of Pleasant Grove, Crossroads Community Services, Sharing Life, City of Dallas Department of Welcoming Communities and Immigrant Affairs, and A+ Charter Schools, home of A+ Academy and Inspired Vision Academy. And also on the website, you may have noticed earlier when Jennifer had it up, but our SCDCC scholarship applications are available on the website. We will be awarding 13 scholarships to the class of 2021. Award sponsors include SCDCC members Atmos Energy Corporation, Daltile Division of Mohawk Industries, Continental Electronics, the Kiwanis Club of Pleasant Grove Foundation, and Blake Ingram with Auto City. Again, please see the website for more details on both events. Okay, so no further delay. I want to introduce our moderator for today's event, and that's Andrea Sanders, Director with Encore Dallas Customer Service. She is a longstanding board member with SCDCC and currently is serving as chair of the Governmental Affairs Committee. So Andrea, I'm going to let you take it away.
Lance, thank you so much, and thanks to everyone for spending this time with us. We appreciate that. So particularly to our candidates that are participating. We know your schedules are very busy, so we appreciate your time today. But just as a reminder, for those that are participating, we want to share the forum guidelines real briefly. As you know, I will ask a series of questions. I will read each question once and will repeat the question if requested. Then each candidate will receive 2 minutes and 30 seconds to respond. My fellow Southeast Dallas Chamber board member, Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez, has agreed to be our timekeeper. That's going to help us stay on schedule and ensure that everyone has an equal amount of time to respond. We will announce when you have 30 seconds remaining, and then when your time has expired. Please conclude your response when your time expires. We will begin in ballot or alphabetical order and rotate accordingly. So before I begin with the questions, I will ask each candidate to introduce themselves. You'll be given 1 minute and 30 seconds for your introduction and the same amount of time for your closing statement. The timekeeper will announce when you have 30 seconds remaining, and again, when your time has expired. So with that, we will begin our District 5 quorum. I do know that some of our candidates were running a little late. We're going to move forward and recognize them when they join us. So first, we would have Mr. Terry Perkins, and I don't know if he's arrived yet.
Yes, yes, there we go.
Awesome. So let's see there, Mr. Perkins can introduce himself and make an opening statement. That would be great.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to say thank you for having me to be a part of this forum today to represent District 5 as currently as a candidate, but I have an opportunity to represent District 5 as a councilman. My name is Terrence Perkins. Go by Terry Perkins. I pastor a church here in Southeast Dallas as well. I'm a business owner here in Southeast Dallas as well. We have worked with families during the pandemic, and during the pandemic, there's a lot of people here in Southeast Dallas that have struggled, not only with food, with income and utilities and things of that nature. So the nonprofit that I'm affiliated with and have worked with in the past, we have served over 6.6 million pounds of food right here in Southeast Dallas and over 20,000 bottles of water during the pandemic to aid the families here in Southeast Dallas. And three things that I'm pivoting my campaign towards is opportunity, which is affordable housing, resources, and resources for the businesses that we already have here in Southeast Dallas, as well as public safety. That deals with our community policing and violence, and also the quality of life, which we can bring in more resources for such as grocery stores, COVID-19 resources, and infrastructure. So that's the reason why I'm running. Again, my three things I'm pivoting my campaign to is opportunity, quality of life, and public safety. And thank you for having me this afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Next, we'll have Mr. Jaime Resendez. Has he been able to join us?
Let's see. I see Penny and Penny, can you or Ever let me know if Jaime has been able to hop on?
I don't think he's on yet, Jennifer. I just checked the attendee list
Right.
and have texted him again. So
Okay.
I'll chat to you as soon as he's on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Penny. We'll move now to Miss Ruth Torres. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ruth Torres. I am a human resources consultant. I have over 20 years of helping businesses start up and grow, and that will be my main objective here. I believe we can get people to work. We need jobs in our community. We need the businesses in our community where we can buy from within our community and build our community instead of everyone else's. We can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. We have to change, and that means having candidates that are elected by the people, for the people, and not just bankrolled by those who want to maintain the status quo. It's time for change. It's time that we get our fair share. We have continuously been robbed for many decades, and it's time for change. So I am the candidate that is committed to bringing change, bringing economic development, public safety, and improved quality of life. As an example of my work, I wrote proposed legislation to address street racing, and I worked on that for almost 2 years. There are 3 bills in process right now that will address street racing for our district and statewide. And that's an example of the bold change and the bold work that I will do for this community to get our fair share. My website is outtorres4dallas.com. Please feel free to connect with me. I appreciate your vote and your recognition that it is time for change for District 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Next, we have Ms. Yolanda Williams. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yolanda Faye Williams, and I am a lifelong resident of Pleasant Grove, been living in the district for 48 years. I have an undergrad degree from UNT and a master in marketing from Texas A&M Commerce. I have just been tirelessly advocating for District 5 for my entire life. I would like to say over 25 plus almost 30 years I've been involved. When Carmen Cottrell, the juvenile house, was located off of Military, I volunteered there in my early 20s. I volunteered with DISD. I'm still active in volunteering with DISD. As many of you all know, I served on a park board for 5 years, and there's a lot of accomplishment, but I can say the biggest one was the aquatics, the Cove at the aquatics, and to be able to come to go to City Hall and advocate on the behalf of our constituents in District 5. We had no bond funds. As you know, District 2013 was a new district created for the Pleasant Grove district, and you have to live in Pleasant Grove. So when we went to City Hall, there were no bond funds. So I'm so honored and blessed with the help of the voters and the colleagues, my former colleagues, that I was able to vote for over $13 million be put in the bond. We have many projects, just to name a few. The football community asked for a football complex. 3.3 million was put in for a football complex. And so we have $600,000 where the old National Guard will place at. It's a new place. Parkdale did not receive, their playground was burnt down for over 10 years. When I got on the park board, we were able to get them a new playground. So I have just been working tirelessly. I serve on the Southeast Dallas Police Advisory Board. I'm on Baylor Scarlet and White Advisory Community Advisory Board. So I have been doing everything I possibly can to make myself be available for the constituents in District 5. So I'm just here once again, just asking everyone for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. So now we're going to move to our series of questions. As I stated earlier, we will start in alphabetical order and then rotate with each question. I will ask you to be mindful of our time. The timekeeper will give you the 30 seconds advance notice that your time is beginning to expire. Once it expires, they will interrupt to say that your time is expired. But hopefully everybody will be respectful and adhere to our 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And with that, we will move to the first question. Everybody will answer, but we will answer in order. So question number 1, how would you support the district's infrastructure initiatives aiming to increase economic development, housing, and access to more and better jobs for the District 5 residents? And we'll start with Mr. Terry Perkins.
Thank you. I think the way that we can deal with that is that we have to utilize what's already in place. In order to bring economic development, number 1, we have to deal with the crime. But number 2, let's just kind of back up a little bit. Southeast Dallas has what you call was considered as an opportunity zone. And so with that, that is a reinvestment as well. So we have to utilize the tools that are already in the toolbox. We can utilize the reinvestment and opportunity zone funds that are there to give our businesses that are currently here an opportunity to expand, to expand their business or to update their business and be able to bring in more economic development. And also it would create jobs here in the community. And I think, again, we have to give the individuals that are already operating the opportunity and the opportunity and the tools that they need to be successful. And that's something that has not been done. If we get the current business owners here the information that funds are available for expansion, then I think they would take the opportunity and utilize those funds. So with the reinvestment zone and the opportunity zone that is in place that has not been utilized through the Department of Economic Development, through the City of Dallas, I think, you know, we need someone that is going to get out there, get those business owners involved, have them to become a part of one of the chambers. And so they can bridge the gap with the collaboration effort between the chambers and with the City of Dallas to know what's available for them. And I believe that will bring sustainability because it would definitely create more jobs, and it would definitely give the business owners an opportunity to be vibrant and successful in our community.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Jaime Resendez.
Not on yet.
Thank you. Same question, Ms. Ruth Torres.
Thank you. Well, I very much was pleased when the opportunity zone was extended by the city in 2019, and I was really disappointed that I didn't really see any utilization of that. So I want to be very aggressive about using the opportunity zone as well as extending it. I want to see work on Buckner. I want to see it on down Lake June. We don't have a TIF in this district. I want to see a TIF. I want to use TIF, PID. I want to stack these so that we can really build. And I'm going to be a very strong advocate on entrepreneurship. I want a whole bunch of people especially who live in this district, women, minorities, I want to help them to start up their business here so that we can have the businesses here to support, as well as using these other tools to attract other businesses because we can mitigate their risk and their costs to come here. So that is going to be my big push for economic development. I think we have a lot of land that can be turned from gathering litter into revenue generating. Any developers that want to come in, I'm not going to block a development. I'm going to go talk to that developer and say, hey, this is the concern. You know, let's work something out so that you can we need units. We have a housing shortage that's pretty much at crisis level that's feeding our homelessness. So I want to work with developers to come in and say, hey, but this is what we need. Let's show you some programs that are available so that we can bring in the wraparound services and the infrastructure that we need so that we can break up cycles of poverty. I want mixed use, mixed income facilities because we have to undesign the red line. We have to bring equity to District 5. And that is what I'm going to be very aggressive about. Sorry, I want to make sure I wasn't paying attention if there was a sign somewhere. I don't know who had that sign. I just want to make sure.
And you have 30 seconds, Ruth, 30 seconds remaining.
So I am going to be very aggressive about building this infrastructure here. I also want residents to know about the sidewalk program. Most do not know that the city has a program where they only have to pay $4 a square foot for homeowners, and we can have sidewalks, but we need sidewalks. We need our streets repaired. And I'm going to be aggressive about bringing that equity here because we have been neglected for so long with our streets and sidewalks and ramps. And we have senior citizens on wheelchairs and walkers that can't get out because we don't have sidewalks. So I find that very shameful, and I will be very aggressive about these items. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Ms. Yolanda Williams.
Okay, good. I think it's important first for in order to invest in the community and move forward with economic development, we must understand why and the meaning of opportunity zones. The federal government enacted the opportunity zone to provide money for underserved communities. So when you look at where the money was placed and how the previous, when I say council member, I'm not pointing out the finger to any council member because they the one voted, not the current council member. You have to look at those district and communities. So when you say underserved community, Pleasant Grove have pockets of it. So I think we're using the word opportunity zone loosely and not correctly. First, we need to go back and make sure that as a council member, that they are using those dollars, those tax dollars wisely and they're placed in the actual opportunity zones. Now, I believe the place that was picked was not just destitute and an underserved community. So I've always have said, and I said it 2 years ago, we must deal with crime. Crime was my number one priority. Crime, not my priority, sorry. That's what the community is saying. And when we deal with crime and quality of life, and I believe economic development would come, they go hand in hand. So we must address these issues. And if we can't tackle on those issues, then we have a problem. We have to tie the businesses in. I've said that's 2 years ago, and I said again, the businesses play a part in the crime when they allow laundering to take place outside of their businesses and they do not want to be part of the affidavit with the police, which we understand some businesses may fear for their safety, and so they don't want to have that. But we have to create a way where we all can feel safe, because in order for us to move District 5 forward, we must all play our part. And I've said this before, we need help from the chamber, not just Southeast, we need help from the Hispanic chambers. We have over 40 insurance companies on Buckner's. You drive down Buckner, when you get to the shopping center, there are 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 4 side by side. We have repair shops. We have to look at what it is that the constituents want. We do not need that many insurance companies. We don't need that many repair shops. So while we know it's against the law to tell people they cannot come, but we need to put a moratorium, because we're not allowing other businesses to come and play a vital part in the community. And then we also need to go ahead and look at the PD, 366, when a former council member put that in place. We were told that when one car lot left, then we didn't have to allow another one. But under the current council member, we keep getting the same old thing. So until we can clean up crime, until
And
we
it's
can.
expired.
Yolanda, your time's up, honey. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. We now have our next question will begin with Mr. Jaime Resendez. This question is a little long. I'll be happy to repeat it for any of the candidates. So we all know that recently there has been an increase in crime across our country, from car racing, human trafficking, homicides, and some of these crimes are motivated by race, sexual orientation, and even some cases COVID related. What do you think the City Council can do to help residents and business owners know that their concerns regarding crime in District 5 have been heard? Mr. Resendez.
Thank you for that question. So public safety is always going to be a top concern in a community like District 5 that has been neglected for a long time. And I think so in terms of, it has to be a multifaceted. Obviously, we need law enforcement to maintain order in a civilized society. So we need to do what we can to support the officers on our streets that are risking their lives every single day. I feel like I've done that since I've been on the council. You mentioned the racing situation. I am the council member that has pretty much brought this issue to the forefront. This was not a campaign issue the last cycle. I went on a ride along with DPD because I wanted to see how they were, what they were doing to address the issue. And we ended up on a high-speed chase going down Buckner and ended up arresting a few folks. And so I put my safety on the line to make sure that District 5 is being taken care of in terms of public safety. But we also need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do on the front end. And that's ensuring that communities like District 5 get the resources that they deserve. I've been doing that since I've been on the school board. I'm the person that brought the very first school for talented and gifted students to Southeast Dallas County. We have a community that's full of extremely intelligent individuals. We just need to make sure that they get the same access to opportunity and quality education that people in other communities get. And since I've been on the council, I've been a strong advocate for equity and opportunity for all, whether it was amending the city code to provide greater access to government, to underrepresented groups, riding my bike on every single street in the district to identify infrastructure needs, because all of this stuff is tied together. When you talk about infrastructure, when you talk about economic development, when you talk about education, all of those things from my perspective are related to public safety. So if we do what we need to do on the front end, that can help us out on the back end so that all these issues aren't placed on the shoulders of our law enforcement officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Resendez. Same question. Ms. Torres?
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, I think the number one way that people know that they've been heard is when they see action and they get results. And so that's what I'm about, is results. And that's why I wrote proposed legislation on street racing and lobbied over 40 state reps to gain the 3 items that have bipartisan support right now with street racing. And one of those bills will require new and drivers getting their license back to complete a course on street racing to know the dangers. And the other one will allow police officers to take their car, repeat street racers, take their car and keep it so they don't go right back out and put people's lives in danger. And so that is a direct result of my work. And as an example, now what feeds crime is poverty. What feeds poverty is lack of education. And so we're going to have to build jobs and get people to work so that we raise them out of poverty while at the same time stem the flow. This district has 7 schools rated DNF. Based on the research, I spent a great deal of time in 2018, and these were based on 2017 numbers. I haven't had the time to do that. I mean, that takes over 100 hours to pull it. But based on that research, which was based on 2017 findings, those were 7 schools, and many of them had been D schools for a really long time. And so that's feeding, but that gives us between 42 and 4,500 students every year in a school that's rated D or F. And that gives us 500 to 800 kids coming out every year without a high school diploma. So that's, these are the factors that are feeding our crime. And so we have to have those wraparound services. We have to get these schools to get it together and stop robbing our kids of their education. They have to get their education and have that strong foundation. And we've got to get people to work. And that means putting everybody to work. Even if they've had a conviction on their record, we need to give them a way to make legal income to take care of their families and disincentivize this recidivism and getting them back into jail. We have to stop the school to prison pipeline, and we have to get people to work. And so that is my #1 agenda to do that, is to bring—
You have 30 seconds left, Ms. Torres.
Thank you. In regards to COVID, I have worked diligently getting additional people signed up to complete the process to be COVID distributors in our area, including going to people's homes. And that's, what I'm working on to bring results, especially for those who are homebound or don't feel comfortable going out to those mega sites. So I am very focused on results to address the cycles of poverty and break that so we can improve. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Same question. Ms. Williams?
Okay, can you repeat that question? Because I want to make sure that answer it appropriately.
Absolutely. Recently, as we all know, there has been an increase in crime across our country, from car racing, human trafficking, homicide, and some crimes are motivated by race or sexual orientation or even COVID related. What do you think our city council can do to help residents and business owners know that their concerns regarding crime in District 5 have been heard?
Okay, I wanted to make sure I stay on topic. First, what a council member can do is listen to the constituents. So when you talk about crime and drag racing, I just want to correct Mr. Resendez. He did not bring this to the forefront. Councilmember Callahan brought it up, and I got a 911 call because we almost got hit. September the 12th, 2019, I sent Mr. Resendez a letter letting him know that my uncle and I was traveling down Buckner and we almost got hit and wanted to meet with him. I received no response. So I'm sorry to correct Mr. Resendez. He did not address street racing. It wasn't until this issue was brought up at a community forum with Chief Hall. And secondly, you must have a council member who is going to represent all. So it's, we take it it's puzzling to me that sometimes people look at their leader who's leading them as elected official, and we can diffuse a lot of things that goes on in our community. And so I commend Mr. Resendez on maybe one thing that he may have done, but let's talk about equality, fighting for all, because all this plays a part in it. We are a diverse district, and we understand that the majority of our neighbors are Latinos. I've been living with my Latino neighbors for 48 years. We get along well, Black, white, and Hispanic, and we have an Asian community. So what we need from a leader is, and when you're representing this district, don't send us literature out telling us this is Spanish only, it will not be in English. That is unacceptable. So that plays a part in race as well, because no one else has been included in zoning. Everyone does not know about zoning. So to host a meeting and target a specific ethnic group is not helping the situation with the current climate. So we need a leader first that's going to address crime. And when crime takes place in our community, we
You
need
have
a
30 seconds, Ms. Williams.
And also, we can't talk about supporting the police and want to defund the police. It doesn't go hand in hand. Defund, reallocate, it hurt our community. It took the overtime away. So we must get a leader who's not going to flip flop and who understands the district and listen to the voters in District 5.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Mr. Perkins, same question.
Yes, ma'am. I think I must say the way that you can communicate, the way that the message should get out to the individuals in the community and the constituents is through neighborhood associations. Homeowners associations are a great way so that the constituents know, so they can let the councilman know what their concerns are and the crime that they're dealing with in their community within the vicinity of their home. And not only you can use newsletters, and there's other avenues and vehicles to get that information out to individuals. But definitely one thing we cannot do, we cannot afford to defund the police or cut overtime of police officers here in Southeast Dallas. I've served on the Southeast Dallas Patrol Advisory Committee here in Southeast Dallas, and as well, I'm a volunteer police officer here in Southeast Dallas. I think those are ways that we can communicate with the constituents and know what the need is by getting them involved with our police department and asking them to become VIPs so they're more knowledgeable about the crime that is going on. And not only that, I think when Chief Hall came and had a community meeting, we talked about putting sound, I believe it was a sound mechanism that can tell where the gunfire is coming from. That is something definitely that is needed and that can be utilized and be very helpful for the gunshots that we hear throughout the night. And trying to get our neighbors to not only just go next door and talk about the gunfire, but call 311 and report where the gunfire is coming from. And so here in Southeast Dallas, you have to communicate with the people, whether it's in Spanish, whether it's in English, or whether if we get out to the senior citizens venues, or whether if we go to the neighborhood association meetings, we got to have someone that is going to communicate with the people, want to listen to the people, and take the concerns back to council and act for the people. And I think that's what we're missing here in Southeast Dallas. It's just a lack of communication. And again, we
You
can,
have 30 seconds.
again, and street racing is one of our things. And we cannot afford to defund the police. We gotta have our men and women in blue serving in Southeast Dallas, serving and protecting the individuals here. And we have to have someone that is going to listen to the constituents.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Thank you. Our next question. How would you see your role on the city council regarding the support of equality? Specifically, how would you advocate for equity in all city services and processes? Our first candidate would be Ms. Ruth Torres.
Great, thank you so much. One of the things, the division among us, not just, in the district, city, state, country, it's really at an alarming rate. And so I am very focused on promoting unity. And that means, number one, having people appointed to the boards and commissions for District 5 that live in District 5. That would be really important to me, to do my very best to actively recruit folks for that and to have a diverse representation from the community there. And so we need to give that voice and that face to be in those positions to make decisions that affect our community. But it's also reaching out to the various organizations here, churches, nonprofits, to have activities. And I want to foster activities funded by the city that promote unity. We need to celebrate who we are without attacking someone else's race or culture or anything about them. So we need to celebrate who we are as a community and enjoy each other. And that's what I'm about. I'm a woman of multi-race. I am white, Black, Indian, and Puerto Rican. So, and my children are very diverse. So I am in a unique position to understand these issues. I'm also the mother of 2 children with a police officer. So I have this very personal perspectives and understanding the issues with communities of color, as well as the perspectives of the police department. So I am going 100% focused on unity. One organization that I helped start up is a nonprofit that is focused on helping communities of color and police to bridge that gap and to work together and to learn to have a mutual respect and trust. And so, you know, those are the types of initiatives that I am going to be very focused on, is making sure everyone has a voice and promoting events and everything that we do. Everyone needs to know that they are welcomed and they are valued. So that's my objective. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Ms. Williams, the same question.
I think what it's going to take is, it's going to take, and I'll just use me as an example. There are some times when you were at City Hall, when I was on a park board, you're not going to always agree and get along. But when it came down to the affairs of your district and for the city of Dallas, I can say we always work together. But it's going to take someone who understands. It is not 14-1 was put in place so we can have a voice. The mayor does not represent me. We have a current council member, and I think we all need to remember that. It is our council member responsibility to fight and advocate on the behalf of the district. And I say that because the budget and what did we just vote for? I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. The budget, you have to understand and know that, I think your screen just went blank. Are you there? Hello?
We can see you.
We can see you and hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry, it went blank. So you're gonna it takes someone who understands. We can't be mad at North Dallas because they're getting everything. They have a representative who knows how to fight. During the budget crisis, the budget, when they were working on the budget amendments, the citizens, the District 5 said sidewalk repairs. They had a list of things. But our current council member said he's a bike enthusiast, and I'm not picking on him. I'm just stating the fact. And he asked for $500,000 to be put back in the bike lane. We have to listen to the citizens of District 5. We desperately need sidewalks. When I was on a park board, we have 1 bike lane. You know what they told us? Our infrastructures and streets are not cut out to have bike lanes. And then he asked for solar panels. So it's not that we can't get our fair share. We need a representative who understands how to get our fair share. So we have to start with that. And I think that there's enough. Everyone had $10 million in the discretionary fund. So when you're a council member, you get to decide what you want to use those funds for. I would have used them for sidewalks. We have a lot of stakeholders.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Okay, we have a lot of stakeholders who's on fixed income. So in order for District 5 to get what we've been asking for, once again, it's going to take a leader to understand that you have to go in there, advocate and fight. That $13 million that I got for us in District 5, it didn't come easily. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Mr. Perkins, the same question.
Madam Moderator, I would love for you to repeat the question.
Absolutely. How would you see your role on the City Council regarding supporting equality? Specifically, how would you advocate for equity in all city services and processes?
That's a great question. I think equity and equality definitely interchange with each other. Dealing with some of our bidding processes with contracts for the City of Dallas, we would definitely like to look at some of those policies and if they need to be amended to ensure that equity and equality take place regardless of your color or what your sexuality may be and who you are and what area you come from. I think giving those men and women an opportunity to bid on contracts that are for the city is very important, because that's equity and equality, ensuring that everyone can do business with the city of Dallas if they're able and capable and can be able to meet the needs of that particular contract. And I think that's something that is not in place at this point. When I served on the park board, there's only, and I noticed that when I served on the park board, there was only certain companies that was chosen to do business with the city of Dallas. And I understand there is a vetting process, but I think that needs to be opened up to ensure that everyone is able to do. And so with that being said, as a councilman, that's something that I would definitely fight for, is equity and equality, because there's good people right here in Southeast Dallas that own construction companies. They own catering services. They own other services that the city provide to the constituents. They need the opportunity to get those contracts and be a contractor for the city. And I think that's something that the people here in Southeast Dallas have no clue or have not been given the opportunity to do. But as well, you have to work with your colleagues on the councilman to ensure that you get your fair share of the budget as well. But as well, you have to have someone that's able to sit at the table with their colleagues on the council and, and negotiate and ensure that the people in Southeast Dallas get their fair share. And I think that's something you can't be on the council and be combative and be divisive and undermining. And you have to be just who you are and be solid and stand your ground and ask that your fellow colleagues support you in your efforts in your
30 seconds.
So again, I think with our contract process, that definitely needs to be relooked at for the people here in Southeast Dallas so they can have an opportunity to do business with the city, and that will bring economic development as well as infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. The same question, Mr. Resendez.
Thank you so much for the question. I think it's important to have leadership that understands first of all, when it comes to equity, there even micro mobility options and environmental issues have equity aspects to them. And we need a leader that can walk and chew gum at the same time. Just because you're addressing one thing doesn't mean you can't address the other thing. What I've done since I've been on the council is that I've been a strong advocate for equity and opportunity for all, whether it was by amending the city code to allow greater access to opportunity to underrepresented individuals. And I mean by allowing non-citizens to serve on boards and commissions. I also, like I said, I rode my bicycle on every single street in District 5. And along the way, I was taking pictures of potholes, broken sidewalks, trash. And I personally submitted over 200 service requests so that the city can address those issues to make sure that they're paying attention to our infrastructure needs. I also have been the leader on the city council in terms of increasing internet access. Southeast Dallas is a leader in terms of households with children that lack internet access. So even prior to the pandemic, I'm the one who had a proposed budget amendment approved to increase internet access in Southeast Dallas because we were being left out. And when I saw that, I made the changes. My colleagues agreed. It was unanimously approved. And even during the pandemic, I was tasked with leading the city's efforts on the council level to increase internet access. And now we have several pilot projects throughout the city of Dallas, including in District 5. If you see certain streets, you'll see brand new street lights, really bright lights, and they include free Wi-Fi access for the people that live on those streets. And so moving forward, I plan on continuing to doing the same types of things when it comes to economic development. In less than one term, despite a pandemic, I've initiated 3 significant projects in District 5 with using the same resources that have been available to our community. One of them is looking into the purchase of the old Carnival grocery store on Ruth and Buckner in order to encourage economic development in a long neglected part of our district. The other one is an integrated community development project on St. Augustine near Elam. The details will be coming out soon, but we have a nonprofit involved, a health center involved, and there'll be a housing component. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Resendez. Our next question. If you're elected as District 5 City Council member next month, what is one initiative, plan, or project that we will see completed out of your office by May of 2023? And with that, we'll begin with Ms. Williams. I think you're on mute.
Okay, I know you said May 2023, so I'm gonna use my time to try to talk about first what we need to do. Our main priority is code. Code is the easiest issue that we can resolve. So I would like for us to help. If I'm elected, the first thing I would like to do is an easy fix. Help Mr. Kenneth win so he can stop getting up 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, cleaning up the litter in District 5, because that is, although he loves it, but code must work for us out here as well. And I'm the one that's been talking about for years, many, many years, reimagine CF Hahn Freeway, because I live on the west side. I can see the skyline when I walk out. Now, I can't say it will be completed by 2023, because as a council person walking in the office, you have to look and see what's left, but the businesses are ready to sell. And if we can reimagine CF Hahn Freeway, put some nice retail over there, put some high-rise apartments, we can attract the millennium, because that's what they're looking for. So I can't promise 2023, but it will be a good start. And also the football complex. As I stated, the 3.3 million that was put in for the football complex, and I'm not picking on Mr. Resendez, I'm just setting the record straight. He did not initiate that. That was under my watch. The community asked, and now he wants to turn that into a park. That's why it's important to have an elected official who will listen to the community. I didn't ask for the football complex. They asked, and we worked hard and advocated and got 3.3 million. That's something that can be done. Guard Park, the $600,000, that can be completed. So there's a lot of park projects that I put up for us when I was on the park board. We just need a council member, to be honest, the streets and the park. I have to give the former council member credit.
30 seconds left.
We set the district up well. He left a lot of great projects. I left a lot of park projects. And once again, we need an elected official who understand you must get the bond funds in year 1 or year 2. That's what I will do. Push those projects forward that I started and Councilmember Callahan had implemented and started. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Same question, Mr. Perkins.
I will say it's kind of impossible to do a whole lot within 2 years, because you don't really see the projects really come and be developed until after you're gone or into your next term. But one of the things I would like to do is build on what's already in the toolbox, use the tools that are there. Definitely let the businesses know here in Southeast Dallas that they have an opportunity to use the funds in economic development to revitalize their business, or to expand their business, or rebrand their business. And that will bring economic development, bring job opportunities. And that's something that we definitely got to push forward in order to see our community change. Never forget, we had a charrette and put some things in place that we thought would be great and helpful to revitalize Southeast Dallas. Build on those things to bring in more businesses, to attract other businesses. Talk about the old Carnival grocery store right at the corner of Booten and Buckner. You know, the constituents have not had an opportunity to have their voice heard if we want that or not. But I think that'd be a great place to bring in a Sprouts, or to try to get Mr. Bud that owns HEB to bring a store in our community with better opportunities of shopping. So I think in my 2 years, that's definitely my first 2 years, that's definitely something I would focus on, is economic development, and as well as using the funds that are there for the opportunity zone to bring in better businesses and to rebrand and vitalize the businesses that already consist. And that would be more attractive to new businesses. And I think that'll put Southeast Dallas down a great track.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Resendez.
Thank you for the question. I already started talking a little bit about this in my previous response. I have initiated 3 significant projects. I understand certain people feel a different way, because, you know, when you drop the ball, that's you got to take discredit the person that actually is getting stuff done. On Masters in Old Seagoville, there's an old piece of land that's been there vacant for a long time, since I was a kid. And that part of the district, there's very limited park space. And so I got the city looking forward, moving forward on acquiring that piece of land. We know the benefits of parks to communities. It's related to public health and economic development. And I was also talking about the integrated community development project on St. Augustine near Elam. This is something that I initiated. Nobody was like, no, this is not something that any previous person set up. And it should be out for an RFP in the next few months, but it's an exciting project that will have a housing component, standalone facility for a nonprofit to have programming related to the arts and technology, and a standalone health facility as well with green space in that area. And so that has a lot of potential. And I like it's funny when we get to this point of the campaign, we're deep into it. And so the ideas that I've been mentioning, the projects that I've been mentioning, people want to take it as if it's their ideas, or discredit the work that I've done. Unfortunately, the Bruden and Buckner carnival store, nobody was talking about trying to acquire that. But I was elected to move forward on the vision that I have for the district. And I plan on continuing to do that type of work. And so those 3 projects, I'm hoping to, continue the work that I've done. There's still a lot more to do. Now is not the time for District 5 to have a revolving door of representatives. I don't think it would be fair to the community to have a brand new person that needs to learn the ropes, that doesn't know where the bathroom is at City Hall.
30 seconds left.
So that's why I'm here today, respectfully requesting y'all's support. Thank you. And one other thing before I cut off, I got a couple seconds. If you look at Lake June and 175, for a long time that stretch was looking ugly. I'm the one who initiated the current construction that's going on right now to repair that. Nobody told me to do that. It wasn't set up by any previous person. So I think we need honest leadership. We need people who are honest to our voters. Stop talking about somebody said defund, because nobody has said anything about defunding the police. So we need honest leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Resendez. Ms. Torres, same question.
Great, thank you. So my commitment is to bring or to either get started up or attract an existing business that we have 20 new businesses in the area, not another insurance, not another car dealership or a tire shop, new diverse business. So either help start up, that will be combined, start up or attract businesses that are not already here. And that needs to total up a minimum of 100 jobs. So my commitment is to bringing business and jobs here. One of those needs to be a coffee shop. It's not going to be a Starbucks, but it can be Juliana's or Juan's. We need a coffee shop that is nice and has a good atmosphere that people can go to. I want to bring diverse restaurants here. Love a taco, but we need some other things. And we need to have some specialists, some doctor specialists that are here so that we don't have to go to North Dallas every time we need to see a specialist. So those are the kind of businesses that I want to attract here. I'm also going to be very aggressive with the schools that are here. I want to work with any school that is here, DISD, charter, I don't care who you are. Let's work together to find out what resources you need so that you can bring up your grades, your performance of your students. Let's get you to A's and B's. D's and F's not acceptable, and C's are minimal. So we really want to get to A's and B's. I want to see if we can work together to open up gym facilities at existing schools here for after hours and on weekends, so we can have some programs for our kids, because it takes time to build a building, but we've got buildings here that are not being used. So we can increase that level of utilization, maybe get some folks in at night school, getting their GED and things, but we need to open things up and have areas for our kids to play safely and have productive time so that they're not bored or have too much time on their hands where they make bad decisions. Those are my commitments to work for this community. Thank you.
Ms. Torres, thank you. And thank each and every one of our candidates today. That's all the time that we have for this forum, but we want to thank each of you for your candid responses, but more importantly, for your willingness to serve and make a difference in our city, especially in District 5, that District 5 community. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our Southeast Dallas Chamber Chair of the Board, Mr. Lance Proctor. Thank you, Lance.
Hey, we can go ahead and take a few minutes for closing statements if you want to do that, Andrea. I know we're running up
Yes.
against the clock, but
Yes,
let's go ahead and
absolutely. Thank you. We will start with Mr. Terrence Perkins, if you want to take about 1:30 for your closing statement.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and to the Southeast Dallas Chamber and those that are tuning in live or listening by phone. I'm Terrence Perkins again. I would like to serve as your city councilman here in Southeast Dallas. I have been appointed to 3 boards to serve our community by former Councilman Rick Callahan, who done an awesome job in our community. As well, we have a long ways to go. Mr. Callahan started a lot of initiatives, and also there's some things that are in the work now by our current councilman. But I think we need a voice, and we need a voice downtown that is going to represent the people and that will listen to the people. So with that being said, I'm asking for your support, and I'm pivoting my campaign on 3 things. Again, my 3 things that I'm pivoting on is opportunity, public safety, and the quality of life. I've been a homeowner here in Southeast Dallas since I was 18 years old. Things have definitely changed. I remember when Tom Thumb was right down the street, and I can go to the movies right down the street from my house. Or I can sit and walk across the street and watch a movie theater right at the Joel Drive-In Theater where the police substation is now. So definitely things have changed here in Southeast Dallas, but in order to bring positive change, we need someone that is going to listen to the people, that is elected by the people, and that have passion for the people. So, hey, I need your support, and the only way I can get there is with good people like you that are chamber members that will help support Terrence Perkins. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Resendez, a final statement?
Sure. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to speak today. I apologize that I was a little bit late, but as you all know, I am the current representative in District 5. I grew up in Pleasant Grove, Southeast Dallas, my entire life. This is the only place that I know outside of my military experience and my law school experience. Prior to being on the council, you all know I served on the school board. I'm proud of my service on the school board, especially bringing the first school for talented and gifted students and advocating for a brand new $30 million facility for Nathaniel Hawthorne. And since I've been on the council, I feel like I've started some good work. I want to continue what I'm doing. To me, education is the foundation of society, but there's a lot of issues that impact education, like housing issues, economic development issues, transportation, and equity. And that's why I ran initially in 2019 for city council, and that's why I'm running for re-election, because I think, again, that now is not the time for a revolving door of representatives for District 5. We need stability. We need somebody who has been there. I'm the only candidate with experience as an elected official. I'm the only candidate with experience combing through billion-dollar budgets, and we need to continue to maintain the momentum and the progress that we've made in the last close to 2 years now, despite the pandemic. And so again, I'm respectfully requesting y'all's support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Resendez. Ms. Torres, a final statement?
Great, thank you. So I am the only candidate that has over 20 years of experience helping businesses to start up and grow. I have supported businesses of up to $2 billion a year, handling very large budgets, as well as supporting over 20,000 employees as a human resources consultant. I have also been the one that worked together with opposing groups, senior management and frontline workers, to obtain mutual goals. So I am very familiar with business and working through conflict. I am a major problem solver. I'm who you call when you've got a big mess. And this is what we have in District 5, is a big mess, and it's been a big mess a really long time. So we can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. It's time to elect a qualified and ethical candidate. I am committed to this community. I am not bought by anyone. My funding is not coming from those who want to maintain the status quo. We keep electing people that are minorities in Dallas, but little has changed because the money behind them hasn't changed. So it is time for us to get our fair share. We should not trade a promised $34 million for 3 for a school in a high crime area where 2 young boys are killed. without an explanation of where the other 31 million went. The community deserves answers, and the community needs to be engaged and be respected in that way. We should not have any more private golf courses that the community cannot step on for 40 years. We need contracts that are for this community in a balanced way. So we need to mitigate gentrification, and we need to build wisely so that we have mixed income, mixed use properties, so we can break the cycles of poverty, get people to work, and reduce our crime. And that is my commitment, Ruth Torres, for Dallas City Council District 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Ms. Williams, final statement?
Well, thank each and every one of you for this opportunity. And although experience is not a requirement, but I am the only candidate who have 5 years at City Hall. So I too was responsible for the park board budget. That's why we voted for the biggest park board bond. So when you talk about experience, you talk about the one who can get it done. I have gotten it done. I am not an elected official, but I do have emails where I receive constant email, streets, we need this, we need that. I do it because I enjoy doing it. And I also hear a lot on these candidate forums about ethical. I'm not going to say that my opponents are not ethical, but I would like to say your behavior. Anytime you want to put a paid consultant, campaign manager to serve on redistricting, that was a conflict of interest. And while I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, I would like to address Ms. Torres with her comments about she's the only ethical one. What I do not do, and I will not post false statement. I did not serve on the park board when the golf course was voted on. That did not come through the Park and Rec. That was done strictly through council and not through the current council member. So when you talk about ethics, let's talk about transparency. Ms. Torres often talked about how well she is with money. She's the only one with experience, but I asked you to Google her and see what lawsuit come up. And Ms. Torres is running for office, but she filed an inability to pay, meaning that you cannot pay your fees or restitution January the 5th, 2001. She's asking the taxpayers, those who will be voting in this election, to pay for her inability to pay. And
30
also,
seconds, Ms. Williams.
when you talk about ethics, I ask that you all Google each and every one of us. This is a serious election. Your personal life is off limits. Business, we will be handling the affairs. Dallas Morning News Sunday, I did not see it. My father told me, read the article in Dallas Morning News regarding District 5. So we need someone that's going to be transparent, that's going to be ethical, that's going to fight for all. And I owe no one anything if I'm elected, but the citizen of Dallas. And I will be giving up $50,000 pay to run this job. So my finances and home is in order, and I've been working hard for the community over 35 years. And if I am elected, I will continue the good work I started on the park board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, and thanks again to each and every one of you for your time. I know we went just a little bit over time, but we appreciate you taking the time out to spend with us, but most importantly for your passion for the District 5 residents and business owners. And with that, Mr. Lance Prothero.
Thank you, and excellent job, Andrea. I appreciate you doing that. So, I mean, it's important to have, this opportunity and have the candidates come before those that live, work, play, pray, and go to school in Southeast Dallas. And that's what the Southeast Dallas Chamber of Commerce represents. Just want to remind everybody, Election Day is May 1st. Early voting, I believe, goes until, you had the graphic up earlier, till Tuesday, April 27th. So I want to encourage everybody to get out and vote and be a part of this process and have your voice heard. A couple of reminders: the scholarship application for our seniors graduating for the class of 2021, our high school seniors, is available on the website. And our Grove Fest of 2021 Grove Fest edition, the vaccine registration and the food giveaway is this Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. at 445 South Masters at A+ Academy Secondary. So if you know somebody that needs a vaccination appointment, please send them up to the campus this week. Dallas County Health and Human Services volunteers will be there and registering for the vaccine appointments, and will be given away food. All right, we ran a little bit over, but again, I'm very thankful that you were on the call today. The YouTube video will be posted on the Chamber's website, and there's other language options available as well if you want to share that with others. So that concludes our candidates forum, and I hope you have an awesome rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.